It's a daily solution. Yeah. Ooh. We are lounging by the beach now. It's that Daily Solution podcast. Okie dokie. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone. I'm Graham.
And I'm Ashkahn.
And today's question is, how does running this business make you feel fulfilled? What part of the work is the most enjoyable? P.S. Do a samba music introduction. So we got that covered.
Check. I think the most obvious answer is
Money.
I was going to say the gratification of sweeping salt every single day. It's just very fulfilling.
Yeah, I like sweeping up. Like, just throw your cash register on the ground and kind of sweep that up when the day's over, you know?
Like a Scrooge McDuck style kind of.
Woo! Dump it into your empty float tank, you know?
So yeah, like probably second to money is.
So it's. I mean, you're gonna get the same answer from everybody, which is it's the customers.
Yeah.
Is the best part.
Yeah, watching people come out of their floats.
Watching your customers. Yeah.
Just watching people while they're floating. I mean, it's just great.
Hidden cameras.
Just tiny holes cut into the wall. Yeah. It's really though. It's cool. It's cool. It's like.
Yeah, there's one part of this entire thing that has not been a joke, which is the customers actually is people's favorite part.
It really is like extremely gratifying to watch people come out of float tanks feeling better, smiling, in less pain, happier, figuring things out about their life that they needed to figure out.
Sometimes more confused, but also happier, which is somehow pleasant.
People have come out and given us hugs. Like people have come out just with like huge looks of relief on their faces. People have come out and told us that, you know, they've been in chronic pain for years, and all of a sudden, like, they had a small respite from that, then coming out of the float tank. People have walked by and given us cookies. Like, I literally had a customer once come in with no appointment, just like literally came in and dropped off a batch of cookies because she was at home baking cookies and was like, I should make some for Float On too, and made a whole second batch just to bring to us for no reason.
We have customers who have sent us flowers because they live in another state now and they were thinking about how much they miss the shop and just send us like Valentine's Day flowers and a card and stuff like that. So,
or like giving us cool salt lamps that they just think would be awesome in our shop. Like, it's just great. It's both really nice to feel like you're really helping people, and those people you're helping are super cool and like are really like great people, and it's just a really kind of nice, heartwarming experience to be able to feel like that's the business that you run.
And you meet amazing people. I mean, both your customers, but also the people you end up working with often are just like the biggest float enthusiasts out there, you know, like very often the first few employees that you hire are kind of like your best customers who want to float so much and like just be around the tanks all the time that they get a job. And yeah, they're incredibly nice too. I mean, still some of our best friends that we have in the Portland area come just as a direct result of them coming in and floating at our shop.
And, you know, it's a really cool way to interact with people. Like, you get to hang out with people after their floats, and you get to hear really interesting stories. You know, you're meeting people who are essentially strangers, and you're not talking about the weather or their work or what they do for a living or any of that stuff. You're talking about, like, dreams of them, like, that they had while they were children, or, like, these weird sides of people that probably people who've been friends with them for years have never heard. And it's great. It's, like, such a, like, cool, interesting way of interacting with the public.
Yeah, feeling like you're actually making an impact on people's lives. Plus, I don't know, like I've always taken a lot of joy out of kind of trying to expand people's horizons or making them think about things a little bit differently. And, you know, through theater is a great example of that, or tutoring is another good example. But float tanks, you just kind of toss people into this saltwater box and trust that they're going to come out, some of them, with their minds blown. And it's really like just that process of introduction, or especially if people seem stuck in their just daily routines and habits, being able to break that up and see the responses is incredibly satisfying. Especially when people walk in and they're so just in their heads, and they're really kind of frustrated, and they obviously have a problem or just a chip on their shoulder in general. And you throw them in a float tank and they come out and they're just smiling and relaxed and chatting, and You're like, oh, weren't you like, didn't you want a partial refund from a float before or something? And they're just like, oh, don't worry about it. That like that transformation is so awesome.
I remember we had 2 customers once that started a game of chess before they went into their floats. And they came out of their floats and their chessboard was still there. I'm like, hey, we still have your chessboard. You guys want to finish your game? They're like, no, I don't think we want to play chess anymore. Like, we don't want to fight anymore.
Yeah, it's too confrontational.
Yeah.
We need to make the pieces move in unison. We've declared peace. Yeah.
Get all the pieces on one side. But it's cool. It's true. Like, there's something personally satisfying to me at the very least at just being responsible for the weirdest thing someone did that day. Like, I really just enjoy just that, like getting people to realize that there's a little bit more to life than their kind of day in, day out sort of thing that they're used to.
And I would say my other most satisfying part of running a float center is just being able to say that I run a float tank center. Like, it's a really fun thing to be able to, like, you sit down on an airplane next to someone, and they're talking about whatever it is they do, and they're like, oh, what do you do, And like, sensory deprivation tanks.
Yeah, I've actually had to lie before because I was so tired and running a float center is just too interesting and I didn't want to get into it that I had to just pretend like I didn't run a float center because I was too tired to even have the conversation. I was like, I can't even tell this person honestly what I do right now because it's too exciting of a job.
Didn't that go horribly too?
It did. It didn't go very well. Started asking me all that. I said I run a spa and the person was like, oh, what type of spa? And I was like, just like massage and stuff. He was like, my wife's a massage therapist. What type of massage? And I was like, I am way in over my head here. I made a huge mistake.
Yeah, good lesson there. Never lie about owning a float tank center, Can't fake it. But it is. There's something really enjoyable about that. And even outside of the center, like outside of people who are actually floating, I've ended up in such cool conversations as a result of just having that as the thing that I do, which is a question you always get asked. But if you open that up and you're like, yeah, I basically do nothing professionally, that's a really fun conversation to have with total strangers.
So, we talk a lot about, I think, the hard parts of running a float center on this podcast.
Which are numerous.
So this is good. This is good to keep in mind. You got to remember this stuff. All of it is worth it because of this. Fixing those pumps at 3 a.m. and dealing with everything else. It's hard to remember in the moment, and especially while you're in construction when you don't even get to see people coming out of float tanks, and then it happens. You watch someone come out of a float tank and they just thank you, as because it's seriously been helping them and significantly changing what they're doing with their life, and then you're like, okay, that's right, that's why I was doing all this. So it's good. It's a good thing to remember.
Yeah, we change lives, and sometimes for the better.
Cool. All right. Good. Well,
yeah. Thanks for the upbeat question. Feel free to ask us more of those anytime. Too, Send them along. And if you want to do that, you go to floatanksolutions.com/podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That's the whole URL. And then
I guess my intonation didn't imply there was a period there, but my sentence was over. Yeah.
Okay. And that's okay. We'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
All right.